What's going on, everyone? It's Brandon with Jacoje Fine Jewelry, your personal jewelry. All 14 karat gold chains should look the same because they're 14 karat gold, right? Wrong.
The only thing that stays consistent is the grind. Keep on grinding. So let's say, for example, you do get this industry standard chain and you don't particularly like that it's plated. You have a couple of options. Hey, welcome back to the channel, everyone. I know it's a little dark in here. I thought I would just keep the lights off. Figured I'd have a nice little, more of a mellow video. Hope you guys don't mind. As you may be aware, Jacoje came out the other day and he explained that a lot of the chains that you and I have bought, regardless of the fact that they are solid gold, because I have had a couple of people ask me, is Jacoje saying he's selling garbage plated, not solid gold? To answer that question, he's selling solid gold. You're getting what you pay for, but he came out with a video and he said that those gold chains are plated, flash plated, dipped, whatever you want to, however you want to call it, whatever you want to say, in a layer of gold. So a gold plating. The words plating kind of scared people and bothered people, even though there is real gold underneath. So what I wanted to focus on today was my thoughts on that whole thing, and also some tips and tricks that you guys might be able to do, because as he mentioned, this is an industry standard, right? So regardless of whether you go to Jacoje for your stuff or not, you might be getting jewelry that is dipped, plated, before you actually get it, okay? So you're getting that solid 14 karat gold, 10 karat gold, whatever the case might be, and it's dipped in a higher purity gold. So when you receive it, it might look more yellow than what it is, and so forth. So I wanted to touch on that. Now, I wanted to talk about my experience with it. I've purchased from Jacoje many, many times. I remember at one point in time, I actually bought a Franco from him. I don't have this Franco anymore. I sold it, but as far as that Franco went, when I received it, it was a 14 karat Franco, but it was a deep, dark golden hue. It looked like it was like it looked like 22 karat. It was ridiculously orange. And I remember thinking, all right, could this be the polish that's on it? Or was this dipped? I was wondering, was this dipped? So I believe I actually reached out to him in an email. I looked for the email, I couldn't find it, but I'm pretty sure I did. And I'm pretty sure I asked him, is this dipped? If I recall correctly, he said it was just the way it was cut, the polish of it. It wasn't a high shine, so it looked a little deeper of a hue. But that didn't really seem to make sense to me. And then not long after that, this was a couple of years back, and then not long after that, I actually reached out to a couple of different places. Daniel Jewelry, I reached out to CMG Links, and I asked them, I said, listen, on your website, I'm looking for, you know, a Miami Cuban link. I'm looking to see whether or not your stuff is deeper or, you know, more golden of a hue than another chain, right? Because you go to the websites, this chain's 14 karat, but it looks like it's a deeper hue than when you go to this website and it looks like a lighter color. Gold color sometimes does change when it comes to the manufacturer, okay? So you might get a 14 karat gold that looks a little bit different as far as color, and it might not be dipped. I've seen that before. But if you compare website pictures, you might see a 14 karat from CMG, for example, when you compare it to Daniel, and one of them might look darker than the other. Now that may have to do with the polish, you know, the cut of the chain and all that, but it could also be that it's dipped, because when I spoke to one of those companies told me, listen, we dip our chains and you can go ahead and actually get your chain dipped if you want. If you want to make it look like a darker color, you can get it dipped. And this is something that people do. Not only is this kind of like, you know, across the board, like Jacoje said, an industry standard, but in-house chain makers do this stuff and you can pay to have it done. So I wanted to talk about the fact that this is something that people do. It protects the actual jewelry that's underneath the coating. It makes it look nicer in a lot of cases. It might make it look like it's more of a purity, like more of a pure gold rather than 14 karat. Maybe it's, you know, 24 karat or 18 karat, whatever the case might be. It gives it a better hue, a better color, and less of a pale color a lot of the time when it's dipped in a higher purity. A lot of people are upset about that because they purchased a 14 karat chain, they received it, they thought it was good, maybe they bought a pendant to match, maybe the pendant wasn't dipped, but the chain was dipped. Whatever happened, whatever is happening out there, there's so many reasons that this could definitely be upsetting. And that's not even touching on the fact that you might get a 14 karat chain that looks like it's, 22 karat when you get it, and all of a sudden it starts turning colors on you. And you think, wow, what happened here? That could be kind of annoying. Now, it does, the chains, in my experience, that are coated can fade in more of a uniform manner. But if they don't fade in a uniform manner, or if you just don't want them fading at all, that could be really bothersome. So let's discuss some of the things that I can think of that might help you if you find yourself in this circumstance with having a flash-plated chain, which is real gold, but might not be the color or the hue that you wanted because it's been layered in another type of gold, another purity of gold. Let's talk about what you can do about that, and then I'll discuss my kind of thoughts on it, because I do know a lot of people are upset about it, and a lot of people are also not upset. A lot of people are cool with it. I'll talk about how I feel about it and what I think. So let's say, for example, you do get this industry standard chain and you don't particularly like that it's plated. You have a couple of options. The first option is you can get rid of the plating altogether. How would you do that? You yourself can grab a buffing cloth, a polishing cloth, and go ahead and polish that chain up. You do that slowly over time enough, you're gonna remove all the plating from that chain. You can even take it to a jeweler, and that jeweler can go ahead and do that for you. They can buff off that polish until you have what is underneath, the end result that you will eventually get to after all of that plating wears off over time naturally. So those are two things. The jeweler can buff it off. Perhaps maybe the jeweler, I'm not a jeweler, ask your jeweler, but the jeweler might be able to even go ahead and give it an acid bath. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of an acid bath, but there's certain acids out there that can corrode plating, so perhaps that might be a possibility. You can go ahead and do that, or you can just wait until it naturally, more than likely uniformly kind of deteriorates over time. So you can do that. And those are the ways that you can go ahead about getting around the fact that this is plated if you don't want it to be plated. Now, let's say you do want it to be plated, or let's say you find yourself in a circumstance where it is plated, but you don't necessarily want it to wear off. Even though you didn't want it to be plated, it's plated, but you don't want it to wear off because you want to kind of keep it the best as you can. Every time you use that chain, you're wearing on the plating. You're wearing on it. So what I recommend is try not to sleep with it. Try not to go crazy sweating in it. Try not to abuse it. And after you use it, wash it off with some soap and water. Gently wash it off with some warm soap, some warm water. Go ahead and just clean it off and let it dry so that you don't have oily skin oils on it and acids on it from your skin, because that's going to eventually corrode on that plating, all right? So you can try to help that plating sustain itself by doing some of these methods that I just spoke about. If you find yourself where it is wearing, and maybe it's not wearing evenly, or perhaps maybe it's worn off and you want it to look like it used to look, you can go ahead and get it dipped again. I don't know how much that's going to cost you. It's probably not going to be cheap, but you could get it flash plated again. Take it to a jeweler, have them dip it, and you'll have the same result as when you first got that chain. It's kind of like chain maintenance, you know what I mean? You can go ahead and do that. It's going to cost you some money, not sure how much, but at the end of the day, if that's what you want to do, that's what you can do. And you'll end up looking like you have a brand new chain at the end of the day, and just like when you first got it. Another option that you might be able to do is, let's say, for example, you buy a chain from Jacoje or whoever. Let's say, for example, it has that plating. You can ask that jeweler to take that plating off. You can see if they'll do it. It's possible. I can't guarantee you, but it is a possibility. You can be like, listen, I want to purchase from you. Do you mind doing me this favor? Because I don't necessarily want a plated chain. You know what I'm saying? Not that there's anything wrong with it, because you're getting that solid gold underneath, but you can go ahead and try to jump the wearing step, try to kind of skip a couple of steps and just get to the end result without having it fade down by itself over time. And if you want to keep that gold plating on your jewelry and your stuff is plated, don't use a polishing cloth. Try not to use a polishing cloth, because the more you use a polishing cloth, I mentioned in a video where I discussed polishing chains in the past, you're actually wearing down the gold, which is why you would want to use a polishing cloth on it if you want to remove that plating. So if you want to sustain the plating and try to keep that plating without it going away, you're going to not want to use a polishing cloth as much as possible. Remember, use the soap, use the water, get all the grease off your chain. Try not to polish it as much as possible if you want to keep that plating on there. Now, at the end of the day, my personal opinion on the matter is I can understand why people would be upset, and not because it's plated in general, but because it wasn't said on the website. Now, Jacoje came out with this video, and let me just start off with saying I trust Jacoje. You know, I bought from him plenty of times, just like you guys have, I'm sure. And I'm not upset about it. I'm really not upset about it. Should it be on the website? Yes, it should. Why did Jacoje make a video about it? I'll be honest with you. Look, I trust the guy. I think he's cool. I just personally feel like he probably got someone emailing him and saying, hey, why does it look like my chain is fading? Or why did I receive a 14 karat chain? Why is it stamped 14 karat, but why does it look like it's 22 karat or something like that? I can see that he probably maybe got an email like that, and he said, you know what, let me make a video about it. People have reached out to him like myself in the past trying to ask about this, so it probably got to a point where he was trying to kind of catch something before it came out and looked bad, and tried to kind of buffer it to make it look less bad. At the end of the day, do I think it looks bad? No, I don't think it looks bad. I don't think it's a bad look. I don't even think he had to make a video on it, to be honest. I trust him at the end of the day. I trust the guy. I think he has the best stuff out there, and that's not only because of the stuff you're getting. That's because of the trust that I have in him. You're not just buying jewelry from him, you're buying him. You're buying a part of him, a part of his business practice. And I trust his business practice. He's been nothing but honest from the beginning, and I think he's educated a lot of people, including myself, and I think he's done an amazing job creating his channel, creating his empire, and giving people quality stuff with not holding anything back. Do I feel like he just woke up one day and said, hey, let me let you guys know about this because I want to? Not necessarily. I don't believe he ever told us why he decided to make that video. But I think it probably was something brewing, and he was like, you know what, let me jump on this ahead of time. Does that make him bad? No, because he's not selling you garbage. He's selling you quality stuff. It's just that it's an industry standard, like he said, to have something dipped. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I don't find a problem with it. Should it be made known on the website? Probably. But unfortunately, it's probably not going to be made known on the website because people will get confused. People are probably going to get confused. So I could picture a whole bunch of people going on the website, seeing a disclaimer, oh, this is plated in this, even though it's 14 karat gold. And then people saying, oh, I don't want something plated. I don't understand. Well, how's it 14 karat gold if it's plated? I could see that causing confusion. So at the end of the day, should he have made the video or not? I mean, he's trying to educate, and he's trying to be honest with you guys, so I think he should have made the video. Am I upset about it? Not really, I'm not, because I already knew the stuff was dipped because of that Franco that I purchased from him a while back. And because I've called various jewelers in the past, and they've told me, yes, we dip our chains. You can ask for it dipped, or sometimes it's dipped already just to give it a better look, a better protection. So it doesn't really bother me. Should it be made known? In a way, yes, it should, so you don't go buying certain pieces expecting something you're not getting. But listen, guys, this has been going on for a very long time. If you're upset about it, you can always get it redipped. You should have known in advance from the website. Unfortunately, I feel like a lot of people just get confused, and that's why it's not made known on the website. And it also could be that depending on the manufacturer that a certain company is buying from, if they're not making their stuff in-house, it could just be that they don't know what it's going to come as. And so once they get it, they just make sure it's 14 karat, make sure it looks good, and they're not really concentrating on that plating. So there's a couple of different things going on here. I could definitely see why people would be upset for sure. That's just what it is, guys. You're getting your 14 karat, you're getting your, whatever carat you order, you're getting it, you're just getting it plated. What doesn't make sense is why is a 14 karat piece not plated in 14 karat? Because that plating's there for protection. You know what I'm saying? It's there for protection and to make it look nice. It should be plated in the same plating, in my opinion, unless you want it to be plated in a higher purity. Because some people want their stuff plated in a higher purity. Some people will pay extra for that. There's nothing wrong with that. But It should be plated 14 karat in 14 karat, 18 karat in 18 karat, 24 karat, 24 karat. You know what I'm saying? It should be plated in what it is. So there's no fading, no discrepancy when it comes to color. That's my opinion. Let me know what your opinion is on the whole situation. Let me know what your opinion is in regards to how you think they should be plated. Should they not be plated at all? Should they talk about it on the website? Let me know in the comments, guys. Hope all's well with you. I hope this video helped. Be safe. Catch you all at the next one.